Welcome back, guys. We are on lesson 2, session 2. We are on page 26 of our books, and we are going to keep looking at different ways to decompose a triangle to find the area. So on page 26, we're still talking about that same problem from the page before, where Maria is in a painting class and she is copying a design pattern using a triangle. The question says, Maria draws her design on 1 centimeter grid paper. She begins with one of the triangles. What is the area of Maria's triangle? On page 25, we looked at how we can cut off the top of the triangle to form different pieces that I have right here in different colors that we were able to flip and rotate down to form a rectangle and find the area as a rectangle. So we're finding the same size shape. It just looks a little bit different by putting these corners of the top part down on the side. We're going to see a different way to do this today. So I have Maria's triangle right here. And we're going to talk about how we can decompose this triangle into 2 right triangles to find the area. So I know I'm looking for area, which I know is base times height. But remember, that's for a parallelogram, and that cannot be used for a triangle. So I need to make or compose a parallelogram out of this triangle here. So one thing I can do, we can find 2 right triangles to help us start this process. Remember, a right triangle is a triangle that has a 90-degree angle in it. So it looks something like this. As you can see here, this is not a 90-degree angle. Neither is this, and neither is this, right? I could not fit a perfect L shape anywhere on this triangle. So I need to make that. Well, what do I already know about triangles and perpendicular lines? The height is perpendicular within a triangle. So to find the height, I start at the top vertex, and I draw a line straight down to the base. We already know that this will give us right angles because we know how to find the height of triangles. After we found the height, now I have 2 separate triangles, one on each side. And to see that just a little bit better, I'm going to use my pink triangle. So now we can see that we have 2 separate triangles. They are both right triangles, and we're going to use these to help us talk about how to find the area of the entire shape. To show this, I'm actually going to cut this part of the triangle off and replace it with the pink triangle. But you'll notice we still have the same shape. It's just decomposed into different pieces. I'm going to work with just one triangle at a time, so let's just look at this one first. How can I compose a rectangle with this triangle? Well, I already have half of my rectangle right here, right? I have this right angle. So all I have to do is draw up and over. Now I have a rectangle composed from my triangle. So this is just to kind of help us see, right? I can't add this onto my triangle. This is not part of Maria's area, the area she's trying to find, but it's going to help us understand how to find the area of the triangle shapes. So now that I have this rectangle, I'm going to find my base and my height. Here's my height. Here's my base. Need to move that down. Here we go. If you remember from our problem, our height is 4. And our base, if we go back to this triangle just for a second to see the grid lines, it looks like I have 1 and 2. my base of this part of the triangle is 2. Right, so actually I'll put this right here so you can follow along. This is 2, and my height is 4. Okay? So how do I find the area of this shape, this entire new rectangle that I have? I know that the area to find a rectangle is base times height. My base is 2. My height is 4. So the area of this entire rectangle, all of this shape that I've drawn here, from here to here to here, is 8. But that includes this space. That's not part of our original triangle. In your head for a second, I want you to pause the video and I want you to answer the question. How much of this shape, what percentage, what fraction of this shape is being taken by the pink triangle? What percentage or fraction of this shape is being taken up by the pink triangle? So, I've noticed that my pink triangle takes up half of my rectangle, right? So, what do I have to do with this number that I found for the area of this whole shape if I only want the area of the triangle? I only want the pink area. I know that the entire area is 8 and that the pink area is half. So what do I have to do with this 8? Pause the video and think about it for a couple seconds. Because this pink triangle takes up half of my area, and I want just the area of the triangle, I need to take my 8 and divide it by 2, right? I need to cut it in half. Another way to cut a number in half is to times it by a half, right? So you can divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2. Either way, you're going to get the answer 4. Pause the video for a second here and take a quick break, and then we're going to look at the other half of this triangle. We are only halfway done with this problem. All right, so now we're going to move on. We found the area of the pink triangle, which is 4. So we found this half, right? We know the area of this is equal to 4. So I'm going to put that right up here. We know that this area is 4. Now we need to work with our other right triangle that we've created. I'm going to do the same thing. Start by making a rectangle so that I can use my equation A equals base times height. I'd like you guys to try this half on your own by pausing the video now and coming back when you're done to see if you got the right answer. So pause the video now. Try this part on your own. Can you find the area of just this yellow triangle? After you've done that, you're back on my video. I'm going to show you how to find the answer. So I have my rectangle, and now I can use my formula A equals B times H. I know my height is 4. That's not changed, right? My height is still 4. And I need to find how long is my base. So I can count my squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I also would know that this is 6 because when this was a whole triangle, like where we started, I found that the whole thing was 8 and that this part was 2, and 8 minus 2 would give us that remaining 6. Or you can just count the lines. All right, so I found my base and my height. My base is 6, my height is 4. Now I can find my area by doing 4 times 6, which gives me 24. But remember, 24 is giving us the area that includes this part right here. But we don't want to include that part. We were only using that to help us so that we can use my equation. But I don't want to include this part. This part is not actually part of my triangle, right? It's not part of the yellow triangle that we're finding the area of. It takes up about how much of the rectangle? Thinking about the same question I asked you here. How much does the pink triangle take up? How much of the area does the yellow triangle take up on this side? Pause your video for a couple seconds and think. What fraction or percentage of the rectangle is being taken up by this yellow triangle? Okay, so looking at this, hopefully you have paused the video and now unpaused. My triangle takes up half, right? If half of this rectangle. And one way that I can prove that is by actually taking this triangle and putting it on top of that area. And I'm going to see that it perfectly takes up that area. So I know that I just have two of the same triangle that's creating this shape for me. The yellow triangle takes up half of the entire area. So if the entire area is 24 and the triangle takes up half of it, then the area of just the triangle can be found by cutting the area that I found in half, which would be 12, right? 24 divided by 2, or 24, half of 24 is 12. Pause the video here and make any corrections to your work that you may have made a mistake on. So now we know that this triangle takes up 4, an area of 4 centimeters squared. And we know that this triangle takes up an area of 12 centimeters squared, right? Let me erase some of this work here. But remember, what we're really trying to find is the area of the entire triangle. So if this part of the triangle is 4, and this part of the triangle is 12, what do I have to do to find the area of the entire triangle? Pause the video and think about it for a couple seconds. To find the area of the entire triangle, I just need to add them together, just like I did physically here. I'm going to add these back together. So I'm going to add 4 plus 12. That's going to give me 16. So the final answer to this problem is 16 centimeters squared, just like we found yesterday, but doing it in a bit of a different style. If you have any questions, please let me know.